Hello everyone and welcome back. We're obviously back with the Firewood Academy series, and today we're going to be going over how to properly store firewood. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Firewood can provide warmth all winter long, and a roaring fire in the fireplace creates a cozy setting. Storing firewood correctly can protect your wood and create a reserve during cold seasons. If you store firewood outdoors, choose a place near your home that's off the soil or at least off the ground. If you store it inside, choose a storage location like a shed or keep it in a trunk in your house. Make sure to protect your firewood from moisture so it'll burn effectively when you're ready to burn it. Step 1. Seek out a location close to your home. When storing firewood, it's important to keep convenience in mind. Firewood can be heavy to carry into your home, and it can become very stressful during the winter months. Seek out appropriate space away from your home to avoid infestations from termites and carpenter ants, but close enough for convenience. Keep in mind, if there aren't any appropriate spaces close to your home, you may want to invest in a wheelbarrow to make moving wood easier. If you already have a riding mower or compact tractor, you can invest in a garden cart or a loader to make moving wood easier. Well, chances are if you have a compact tractor, you already have a loader, because that's what most people buy compact tractors for. But anyways, step 2. Find a location off of the soil. When firewood is stored directly on the ground, it'll rot quicker. Bacteria and bugs can get into the wood, which will cause it to go bad. Surfaces like concrete, asphalt, and clean gravel are great surfaces for firewood. If you can't find any appropriate surfaces, you can use sticks or logs to keep the firewood off of the ground. Or lumber. We usually use 4x4s or 6x6s. 4x4s work good for firewood, and 6x6s work good for logs. You can also lay down a tarp underneath the wood instead, but tarps will tear eventually. Step 3. See if there's room in an outdoor non-wooden storage shed. If you have an outdoor storage shed, it's a great place to store firewood. A non-wooden storage shed would be like a pole barn. They've still got a lot of wood components, but the exterior shell will not be damaged by insects. And if you get one of those like plastic sheds from Home Depot or Lowe's or Tractor Supply, those work pretty good too. The floor of the shed will provide a barrier between your wood and the soil, and if your storage shed is made out of wood, be careful to avoid insect damage because they can cause significant structural damage to the building. Garages can also be good places to store firewood, especially detached garages. But if you've got a house like ours, we've got our garage and then a mudroom in between our garage and the house, and then we've got the house, and so it would be really easy for insects to get brought in the house if we stored firewood in the garage. Last year what we did for firewood was we actually just loaded up the wagon full of firewood, pulled it right in the garage, didn't have to cover it or stack it or anything, just had it right in the garage. But after that we wanted to start using the garage, so I built a really simple firewood rack for the porch out of 6 2x4s, I think, and it works good. So that's what we use to store our firewood. Step 4. It's never recommended to store firewood inside your home. Insects which are living in your firewood can cause significant structural damage to wooden buildings, like I've said numerous times already. If you've got an old trunk, you can store firewood in there. Some fireplaces actually have compartments built into the wall next to them where you can store firewood. Make sure firewood you store indoors is fully seasoned. If you cut your own wood, make sure to store it outside until it's seasoned. It takes wood on average about 6 months to fully season. You probably hear the truck going by outside. Harvest is in full swing around here. But anyways, next time I'm at my grandpa's house, I'll show you. His fireplace is, well, there's a brick fireplace. He's got a wood stove, not an insert, a wood stove inside of the fireplace. It doesn't take up all the area. It's a big fireplace. But there's two little compartments next to it that he uses to store his kindling and wood. Number 1, elevate your wood with pressure-treated 2x4s or 4x4s if it's necessary to keep the wood off the ground. You only need to do this if you don't have a place that's off of the soil. You can buy boards at any hardware store and quickly create a firewood storage area. Lay the boards on the ground about 15 inches apart. Lay down as many boards as you need to stack all your wood. Step 2. Use a tarp to protect your firewood from moisture. You should always lay a tarp down over your firewood. You can also get a decent-sized farm tarp at Harbor Freight for about $5. Simply lay the tarp over the firewood and use bungees to secure it. If you don't have any bungees, you can place bricks or pieces of wood down on the edges of the tarp to weigh it down. It's important to allow some airflow because you don't want your wood to get too dry. To do this, just leave the sides of your stack open. Step 3. Stack your wood effectively. Stacking firewood incorrectly can cause it to rot quicker, and you should always stack your firewood rather than throwing it into a pile. This will promote air circulation and keep your wood from drying out too fast. Never stack firewood against a wall when stacking it outdoors. This can leave your wood vulnerable to moisture and bacteria. Always leave a few inches of space between your wood and a wall. Never place firewood on the side of a wooden structure because it'll invite insects to feast on the structure. You don't want carpenter ants and termites getting into the side of your barn or your house. Number 1, don't put a tarp over the wood before it's dry. Wet firewood needs to dry out before it can be stored safely, and wet wood needs to be exposed to open air to dry out. If you've just collected firewood, don't put a tarp over it yet. If it's going to rain, you can cover the wood, just leave the sides of the stack uncovered. Number 2, make sure your firewood is properly seasoned before using it. You don't want to throw wet wood into your fireplace. This will produce lots of steam and it'll also cause creosote buildup on the sides of your chimney. Dry firewood will be gray with cracks along the edges, and it'll also be much lighter than wet firewood. And number 3, check any local regulations regarding firewood storage. It's possible your city or neighborhood may have specific regulations regarding the storage of firewood. Look over your local codes in your area before choosing a method for storing your firewood. You want to make sure you're storing it by legal means. I hope you guys liked this video and learned something new. I'll see you guys again on Wednesday. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share these with your friends. Check us out on Facebook at Outdoors with A&T. And we've also got a Patreon page now with 3 different membership options, so don't forget to go check that out as well. So, I'll see you all soon. Until next time, bye for now.